All right, we are live. Lions fans, we are going to get his recap on the Lions' close but hard fought victory against the Rams last night. Let's talk about it. All right, son. 27 to 20. I'm sorry, not 27, 26 to 20. Our Lions pulled it out. I think you and I had very close scores. I think my prediction was 27-17. I think you were somewhere around in the same ballpark. We thought it would be a close game, a hard fought game. Before we break down the offense and the defense, what were your overall thoughts? What were your initial thoughts on the game?
Like you said, okay, I don't know why this computer is already doing this stuff. But like you said, yeah, I thought it was a pretty hard fought game. Especially no, I mean, honestly, all the way through, I was gonna say the first three quarters were pretty good. Through. Was I just isn't glitching? As I gotta see, I'm frozen again.
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're frozen. Yeah, but I can still hear you.
Can you? Yeah, you can still hear me. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I
I don't
can
know,
hear
it's because
you
I
though.
have a lot of tabs open or what. But yeah, no, I thought it was a okay, yeah, yeah, no, I thought it was a pretty good game for the most part. Like we said in the preview, we thought it was going to be a pretty close game. So yeah, I guess I'm not really too surprised by the outcome. Um, I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, they had kind of had a slow start, but a lot of our starters didn't play in the preseason. So
Exactly, exactly. Uh, I was gonna jump on. Let's jump on Twitter real quick and see some of what Coach Dan Campbell was talking about before we get into each side of the ball. This is him talking about Dave Montgomery. He said he put the game on his shoulders.
Dave Montgomery put that game on his shoulders, and he really willed that to happen. It was impressive, and he's a stud, like I said last night. Dave Mc-
Okay, this is Coach with a clip. DC with some defensive shout outs. Let's see what Coach is saying. Let's start this clip over.
Defensively, Alex was all over the field. I thought Hutch and
Agreed.
Davenport on the perimeter, man, they really all day long were a force. And Kirby played a pretty good game. That was a big play right before halftime, but overall it was pretty good by him. Defensively, Alex was all over the
Okay,
field.
sorry about that. Okay, so that's Coach Dan Campbell giving us some of his thoughts on the game, some of the thoughts on how he thought, how he thought his guys did. So you and I will get into. Let's start with the offense. What were your takeaways on the offense? Let's start with the quarterback play.
um, well, I guess looking at the stats now, um, 'cause sorry, I actually just realized those were the stats from last year. But looking at the stats now, I mean, I guess Jared Goff, he didn't have a terrible game. I think he was something like what was it? 20. Oh, dang.
I got him up 18 for 28.
Dang, okay. Okay. I was looking at all the wrong stats because I was like I thought Matthew Stafford threw the ball for more than all right, bad. I'm just gonna look what you have up then.
Okay.
But yeah, okay, so no, his game wasn't as sharp as what I thought because that was last year he went for 22 for 27. So I mean, it wasn't a bad game from him. I mean, in my opinion, he kind of fell back a few steps. There was just some things that I didn't like. We kind of saw the overthrows and stuff, but I mean, it was his first game, so I'm not trying to get on that train about well, we shouldn't have paid him. Well, I mean, I didn't want us to pay him that much anyways, but like we already talked about all that stuff anyway. So for what it was, I think it was a pretty decent game, but I think he definitely has to step it up if we're gonna beat a team like the 49ers coming down the road, or really just focusing on the next week beating the Buccaneers because we know they have a pretty good defense too.
I agree with you. Jared Goff, I would have to say I would give him a solid B minus, and I'm saying that because he did step up when we needed him to, and that slow 7 yard run he had was huge for a first down. So I am going to give him credit on that. Let's move on to the running backs, the rushing game. We see that David Montgomery, 17 for 91. Of course, he had the touchdown in overtime. Gibbs touched the ball 11 times for 40 yards on rushing with a touchdown. What were your thoughts on the running backs and the running game, I should say?
Um, I honestly I thought the running game was super quiet. I thought the running game was super quiet pretty much until overtime. Like pretty much, yeah, no, not pretty much. No, the running game was really quiet until overtime. I mean, what 50 of those yards that Montgomery probably had were in overtime, right? I mean, it had to be something like that, or like 40 of those yards or something, because he
Yeah,
pretty much
something like that. Yes.
took over that whole entire drive. Um, Gibbs, it's nice to see. I mean, I feel like his carries are still going on the up and up. So we know that we know that eventually he'll start having more games where, like, we know that Gibbs is going to come on along more. So no, I thought the rushing was all right. I'll give it like a C, because we've obviously seen better, but it was a pretty decent game for Montgomery because he started getting going at the end. So
Yes, and you know what, son? That's why I'll give it a C plus, because exactly what you said. In overtime, it seemed like we remembered we have the best, if not the top three offensive line in the league, and Dave Montgomery is a big runner, it's something kicked in where Coach Campbell or Ben Johnson, however it happened, said, you know what, let's lean on these guys. I actually have no issue with the stats that I see on the screen because I think that this is what we're going to see all season. If you really, I think you're going to see it's going to be really Montgomery and Gibbs being one running back. That's what I think that we're going to see, son. So you can kind of look at the running game as 28 carries for 131 yards and two touchdowns because I think this is what you're going to see. You're going to see Montgomery and Gibbs, excuse me, both with double digit carries. And I think that coach is going to be happy if those guys can go over 125, 135, 150 yards a game. I think that's what we're going to see in the running game. Let's move on to. I know the stats don't show, but let's talk about the offensive line. What were your thoughts on the offensive line? Just looking at the stats, there was only two sacks, two for 17 yards. I'm trying to remember the sacks. I don't know if I want to put those on Jared Goff holding the ball too long, but two sacks for 17 yards. What was your thoughts on the offensive line's play last night?
I thought the offensive line did decent. I mean, I don't think there was I don't even remember there being a holding penalty, but I could be wrong. I actually don't remember there being too many egregious penalties at all in the Lions. I guess there's pass interference or something like that, but
Glasgow
it's,
got a
that's
penalty.
whatever.
Glasgow got a penalty. I forget what it was for right now, but
Oh,
I
okay.
think he was the only one who got a penalty.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, I thought the offensive line looked pretty good though.
Yeah.
I'd give it I would say, I would give us a B plus.
Yes,
The Ram, it's not like we went against. It's not the same Rams offensive line as when they had Aaron Donald. But
exactly. Totally agree. Okay, good deal. Let's move on to the receivers. If you look on my screen, it was led by Jamison Williams. Some were saying that was his coming out party, 5 for 121 yards. He had a touchdown, but that's a 24.2 average. 4 receptions by Sam Laporta, who I think is still hurt. Gibbs had 4 receptions for 34 yards. Amon St. Brown, 3 for 13. What are your thoughts on the receivers?
so I thought it was just okay. I mean, it was nice that Jamison Williams did good, but really, what I want with the receivers and just offense in general, it'd be nice if we could kind of, um, I don't know, explain it. It'd be nice if the offense had more of a dynamic to it, where it's like 5 or 6 superstars really. I don't know what offense was like that. I guess maybe like how the Chiefs used to be. I mean, they're about to be like that again with Xavier Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, okay, well, Jameis Williams did good, but it's like, dude, Amon-Ra St. Brown only got 6 targets, though. So that
Right.
doesn't really work. Sam Laporta wasn't really, I didn't really see, I mean, 4 for 45 is actually decent, but like, still, if you get what I'm saying, like, really,
Yes.
it should be like one of those things, almost like the splat. I don't know, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it should just almost be like, oh, it went to JMO. Oh, and then it went to St. Brown. Oh, then it went to Gibbs. Back to Khalif Raymond. Back to
Laporta.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree
But
with you.
I mean, no, it was just the first game though. We don't know exactly what they're trying to game plan or anything. They could be trying to get
Right.
teams to think that Well, they already know that Amon-Ra St. Brown's a problem, so I don't know. They could be trying to lull teams to sleep somehow, but I don't know. I feel like you'd be a bad coach to even fall for that, really. So I don't know what the plan was.
Yeah. Okay.
Because dang, when you look, oh, it's actually
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
Because really, when you look, it's like, dang, who are the receivers really? What, just Jamon Amon-Ra? I kind of forgot who we even picked up.
I mean, we have Khalif Raymond, which we already have, but Isaiah Williams made the roster, the active roster. We didn't see him at all, and that is actually it. Everybody else is on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Everybody else is on. Is there another? No, it's not. Everybody else is on the practice squad. All the other receivers.
So I wonder if that will be something.
Yeah, maybe Tim Patrick will step up and he can come in and give us something. They maybe they move him up. We'll see. Okay, let's move on to the defense. You look at the stats here. The defense, son. Let's start with the defensive line. My guy, he didn't have a tackle, but my guy, the rookie Makai Wingo, he did get a pressure early in the game. I was impressed with the defensive line, and I'm gonna tell you who else impressed me. Marcus Davenport. I did a little halftime report, and I mentioned that Marcus Davenport actually impressed me. He was actually getting pressure from the other end. He had half a sack, but it was the pressure that he was getting, and that could take some of the pressure off of Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson was eating up those young or that young offensive line, that injured offensive line of the Rams. I mean, these dudes could not block Aiden. I mean, I saw him get tripped twice.
Yeah.
Yesterday. What's your thoughts on the defensive line?
I thought the defensive line was pretty good as well too. I thought yeah, like you said, they couldn't handle Aiden Hutchinson at all. Um, that spin move that he loves to do was working still, so that's nice to see. Like you said, I noticed that Marcus Davenport guy too, just because one of the offensive line guys were over, or one of the defensive line guys were over yesterday actually too. So yeah, they were talking about him. So yeah, that's how I noticed him. But yeah, no, there's something else about to say. No, it's more about the linebackers in the corner. So no, I thought the defensive line was all right. I thought they were decent. I think give them B minus,
Me too. Me
which is
too.
higher
See,
than what we usually have.
son, we thinking alike. I also give them a B minus, and I'm gonna show you something else too, son. Look at these rushing yards. The Rams had 83 rushing yards, and to be honest, if you take off Cooper Cup's 10 and Puka Nakua's 7, that means that we held them to 66 yards rushing.
Yeah.
So, the defensive line showed up. Let's talk about the linebackers. That's what I want to talk about. Man, Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell were on one yesterday. If you look at the screen, they combined for 20 tackles. They didn't have any sacks. Yeah, they combined for 20 tackles. What's your thoughts on the linebackers? And throw our guy Derek Barnes and Rodriguez in there too.
Um, I thought the linebackers looked pretty good. No, actually, I thought the linebackers looked really good. I mean, this kind of comes on like what schemes was being called, which we knew that they were going to make an adjustment for it. We kind of would seem to be getting killed in the flats extremely bad, but especially in the first half, and not even so much the flats. It just seemed like they were doing this stuff where, like you said, they were like not like they would throw in the middle of the field eventually, but it was after they threw to the sideline area. Like, you know what I'm saying? They would like
Yes.
throw in between the flats and like the outside part of the field. It was very interesting how they were doing that stuff. And I felt like that put the linebackers in an awkward spot, especially trying to keep up with all those motions and everything like that.
Yes.
But the first few drives, Alex Anzalone was looking like one of the best linebackers in the league. How he was
Right. Right.
getting tackles, how he was just traveling around the field and stuff like that. But I did. Well, yeah, we'll move on to the corners later. But
Okay.
yeah, I thought they looked pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I actually will give the linebackers a solid B plus. I want to get them an A minus, but I'm gonna get them a solid B plus only because a lot of the underneath stuff. But as you and I kind of touched on earlier, Sean McVay is a very good coach, and all of that motion was really throwing the Lions off. And you have Matthew Stafford, who was still the goods, and Matthew Stafford was just picking apart he could see what the Lions were doing because of that motion. Because we know that whenever you put guys in motion, if someone follows him, they're in man. If they don't, they're in zone. And good quarterbacks are going to pick that apart. Now, you might be able to get away with that with a young Caleb Williams. You may be able to fool. Who else did we play this year, son? Did we play another young quarterback? I'm not sure who else. I can't think right now. You may be able to
Yeah.
kind of fool them, but veteran quarterbacks, that's going to be a problem. So I'm with you. I would get them I'm giving them a solid B plus. Let's move on to the DBs, the corners and the safeties. What were your thoughts?
I thought the corners. It's hard. I thought the corners. I thought they did decent. It's tough because it seems like no, because the corners just did okay. The reason why they just did okay is because the one thing that stood out was look at the top three tackler. I mean, it was Carlton Davis and Terry Arnold. So obviously something wasn't. I mean, that does kind of have to do with them throwing underneath routes and stuff like that.
Right.
But the one thing I didn't like was okay, Tyron Arnold for the most part is locked down. I don't really care about the pass interferences and stuff because he's like a young, like that's fine, that'll go away. But Carlton Davis was obviously getting cooked. I mean, I saw him on the screen too many times. I didn't see Tyron Arnold on the screen, and I was watching Tyron Arnold in coverage, so I know he was locked down for sure. I I guess if you can shut down one corner, then that's enough. But I still see Justin Jefferson going for 200 plus yards in a game, like really easily, actually,
Mm.
just by doing the same thing, just by motioning him away. Because it's not like they had Terran Arnold following, which they wouldn't have. He's like 6'3" or something. I guess they wouldn't have him follow Cooper Cup around the field regardless. But who knows?
Right.
The Lions might
Right.
not have him follow, like Sauce Gardner doesn't. Not every corner follows the guy around the field,
No,
so they
no,
might not.
no.
Yeah.
Sauce doesn't. Sauce Gardner literally stays on the left side of the field. That's it. They do not rotate him around.
Yeah.
He doesn't shadow. He stays right on the left side of the field.
So I think, and I guess we could talk about Brian Branch. I'm pretty sure he looked pretty good for the most part too. And yeah, our safeties have always been good. I'm tripping. Wait, so the safeties is it's Kirby Joseph, it's
And
Kirby
Brian
Joseph,
Branch.
and
Because Brian Branch is
oh,
not, they don't have him in the big nickel this year. He's at
oh,
safety. So Mick
they
Robinson
just have
came
my
in to play the
straw.
nickel. Rake Straw played the nickel, and that was going to be Emmanuel Mosley's spot, but of course he got hurt. And when Melifonwu plays, he'll also be in that nickel spot. So they really want Branch to play safety like he did in college.
Oh, so Emmanuel Mosey still hurt from last year.
You know, son, he got hurt. I want to say right before the preseason, man.
Oh, I am totally
Yeah, he
tripping.
got hurt
Okay.
again. Yeah, he got hurt again. And look at Brian Branch. He had 7 tackles. He had that deflection. He jumped past Cooper Cup and jumped in and knocked the ball out of bounds. But he did have that dropped interception. So I would have liked to see him hold on to that. Kirby Joseph did have an interception. And let me see. I think that's pretty much it for the safety position. Okay, son. And then I just want to touch on this. I got to touch on my guy, Jake Bates. 2 for 2. If you remember, I did a video back in the summertime when the UFL was going on about the Lions should bring Jake Bates in. The Lions did. He goes 2 for 2, including that kick at the end of the fourth quarter to put the game into overtime. And Jack Fox, I mean, come on, he does what he does. 4 punts with a 57.5 average, which means that he flipped the field. So, son, what are your final thoughts about the game yesterday?
I thought it was a pretty good, hard fought game. We knew it was going to be a close one because it was Matthew Stafford once again coming back to the D. So, um, I guess I was saying I was gonna have to wait till we saw how the first game went to see how the season's gonna go, but I still don't know. I guess that's the NFL for you because teams are always gonna play different than how you think. I honestly think that when we go against the Buccaneers, it's probably going to be a game like this again. I don't think it'll go to overtime,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. I guess you forget that there's not really too many blowouts in the NFL. I don't know. But then again, it's tough because I don't think the Lions are really even close to full power. I really
Right.
I give the offense a C plus for this game, but like if I was comparing it to last season, it'd be like a D plus or a C minus. I didn't see anything that was like that impressive.
No.
But once again, it's like 17 weeks in the season. Like coaches are pretty smart how they do this stuff too. So who knows?
Yeah, I would agree. This is what I'm gonna chalk it up to, son. I am going to chalk it up to the fact that the Lions are rusty. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to. I think that because the guys didn't play in the preseason, even though they did have those inter squad scrimmages, I think that they're rusty. I think that it showed. I think that the offense is a lot better than this. And I believe that there's a good chance that this week against Tampa Bay, we may see them really open it up because they kind of got their mojo going. And I'm going to say that I think that Sam Laporta is actually still hurt. I think so. I think that that's another thing that's hindering an offense. And Sam Laporta, who is one of our big targets, I still think he may be not 100%. So we just gotta get these guys back where they need to be and move forward. All right, Lions
Yeah.
fans. Yeah, good job, son. Lions fans, all of you, if you haven't already over on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep talking Lions football. As you see, our TikTok is on the screen. Go over there and follow us over there. And our Twitter/X page is right there on the screen as well. Go over there and give us a follow as well. We'll see you all later in this week when we discuss when we do our little preview or talk about the Buccaneers game coming up. Until next time, peace.
Peace.